Okay. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you guys for joining. This is part 5 of Manas. We're doing touch today. Okay. So you see the tiny baby holding onto the mom's big finger? So touch starts at a very early age, right at the beginning. This is from Malika. Okay. And sorry, just one last administrative thing. Narottam, could you hand those back to dear Lalita and his group? These are the feelings wheels. Thank you, Manu. Just to where they're sitting. No, just to where they're sitting. Okay. I'm just waiting 1 minute for everyone to get settled. So please come sit closer where it'll be easier if you come where the items are. Okay. Huh? Huh? Okay. There's a buzzing sound. There's a buzzing sound. Okay.
Oh, everyone gets one.
It's like meh. So if you're sitting in the back, please, and if there's not some items back there, they're up here in the front. There's a spot there, there's a spot there. There's not enough items in the back, so. Okay. Is there somebody sitting next to you, Malika? Is there something in between Malati and dear Lalita? Is there something in between them? Just there's only 2 seats there? Huh? Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. Thank you, South African group, for joining us. We've got a full house tonight, and we're going to be doing a very interactive, and also Malati for joining us. I know you've been online all these times, so this is going to be a fun, interactive one, because we're doing the sense of touch. Okay? Okay. So today I'm going to review the main points from last time where we were tasting. Then we're going to do an exercise, meditate on manas. Then we're going to talk a little bit about the sense of touch. And then I'm going to tell you a story of one of my patients that I used to work with. It's the case of combative Kayla. Okay? Remember last week? Everybody who was here in person? The chocolate? So that was the main thing we talked about, is taste, right? So we did a mindful tasting exercise where you focused your awareness on the reactions to the sense of taste, like or dislike. The speakers aren't working? Or? Can somebody please turn the speakers up? Can you hear me better now? I think there's a buzzing sound. Can you hear better now? Yes. Okay. So last week we did the sense of taste. And we did an exercise on mindful tasting where you focused your awareness on 10 different things that you tasted, on if you liked them or disliked them. And you used the feelings wheel also to figure out what feeling related to like or what feeling related to dislike. So you guys, I tried to give feelings wheels to everyone, so you should have a feelings wheel in front of you, and if you don't, you can share with a partner when we get to that, okay? So another point from last week was that our sense of smell is responsible for about 80% of what we taste, which is a very interesting point. And we did that with the nose, clipping our nose, right? And tasting chocolate with the nose clipped versus not clipped, and realizing, oh my God, nose is making this taste so good, the sense of smell. And then I talked about the 6 Ayurvedic tastes related to feelings. Remember, you guys are picking your favorite taste that you liked, and some people are like, oh, I love the lemon. And then you see, oh, actually what feeling is related to that. And then we talked about this thing about rasa. Remember, we said the taste of food is called rasa. Our emotions are also called rasa. And then the lymphatic system in our body is also called rasa. And they say it's like a river that's carrying our emotions into every single cell of our body. So that's very powerful that I was highlighting the importance of how you eat as well. Remember last week I was saying who you eat with, if you're eating on the run, if you're eating when you're driving, if you're eating when you're angry or stressed or grieving, that's going to affect your body, right? And that accumulates over time. And then I ended with saying the importance of having the 6 tastes in every meal. And I gave you guys a little churn I made up, right? To sprinkle that on your meal because it's hard to get all 6 tastes in. Sometimes it's not. In Indian cooking, it's actually not, but if you're a picky eater and you don't like certain things, it's hard to get all those 6 tastes in. So those were kind of the main points. Okay? So now we're going to take this idea of meditate on manas again, and we're going to do it with touching, mindful touching. Okay? And a lot of people love dogs. I know not in this community maybe, but for a lot of people in the Western world at least love dogs even more than people. So it's very soothing to pat something. Probably in this community it's a cow, right? But in the West it's a dog, at least in my family. Okay, so now we're going to focus your awareness on your manas reaction to every single thing you touch. So each of you has a bag in front of you. You can take those items out, all of them, and just place them in front of you if you haven't done so already. And you each should have a sheet called Meditate on Manas. Okay? So get out a pen or a pencil or something to write with on your sheet. This is like a wine tasting, except for we're going to do it with touching. Okay, so lay out all your things. Lay out all your things, okay? Get out your pen. So the idea is that you're not touching them now. All you're doing is you're trying to control your manas. Uncontrolled manas is reacting to everything right now. Controlled manas is following the instructions. Lay the things out. That's all. Vilas, you're our poster child for the controlled manas. You're just like stoic in here and they're laid out, right? Okay, everybody look at how Vilas is doing it. Lay your things out. We're going to get all excited about manas after. Get your pen out. Good, Vilas. Pen out. Items in front of you. You should have your manas tasting sheet in front of you and something to write with. If you need something to write with, you don't have it, raise your hand. And if you have something to write with, please look at the people in the back who need one and please share if you have something to write with. You can also share with your partner. If somebody next to you has it, you guys can share. So everybody has something to write with, or you can share with a partner. Everybody has a bag with items. Everybody has one of these, and you put the items out in front of you. And everybody has a mindfulness tasting sheet, right? Okay, you need something? You can come get these. Last but not least, this is the last goodie bag here. Okay? So you've got that. Ready? Okay. So you guys have 10 experiences of touch. I'm going to take you through it slowly, so don't start yet. If you're watching remotely, try to collect 10 things you can touch. It doesn't matter what. If you're sitting on the couch, you can touch the couch, the pillow, your hair, your nose. It doesn't matter. Just find 10 things to touch to have the experience of something different touch sensation. Okay? Before we begin, I have to state this because I don't want you to feel forced to touch anything you don't want to touch. Okay? Listen to the needs of your body. If you're like, ew, that looks disgusting, I don't want to touch it, or I'm going to take you through a series. Some you may want to touch, but the ones you don't, that's fine. This is supposed to be like a fun, engaging activity. So you can actually just watch the whole thing if you want. Okay? So now the items are in front of you. I'm going to take you one by one, and you slowly feel the item. Okay? And notice, is this sensation to me pleasant, or is it unpleasant? If it's unpleasant, you might want to throw it down. If it's pleasant, you might want to keep touching it, right? You might like how that feels. And then you can check off on your sheet if you like it or dislike it. And then on top of that, see if it generates a certain feeling in you. That's why you have the feelings wheel. And if you don't have one, if there's not enough, share with your partner that feelings wheel, okay? Narottam, if you have two, maybe you can pass one back to Brianna because I think she doesn't have one. Thank you very much. Okay. Dear Lalita doesn't have one?
No, it's extra. If anybody wants a
Oh.
free bag.
Does everybody have a bag of things to look at? Okay, we'll save that. Is there an extra feelings wheel there by chance? No. Okay. 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 So then you write down your feeling. But if it's taking too long, you don't have to kill yourself to figure out your feeling now. If it comes naturally and you're like, oh, excited, elated or something, write it. But if you're not sure, you can just move on and look back at it later. Okay? So everybody has their feelings wheel? Here we go. You got your touch sheet? 3, 2, 1. Touch and feel. Squishy toy. Everybody has a squishy toy. Squish it, look at it, feel it. See what that generates in you. If you actually close your eyes, it's even better, right? Because then you're not engaging your sense of sight. Sometimes something can feel good, but it looks gross or disgusting. So yeah, good. Close your eyes, take a breath. See how that feels in your fingers. Do you like how that feels? Do you dislike it? If you like it, what feelings come up? And when you're ready, you can look at your feelings wheel and see. I'm sorry, Malika, can you just give me that extra bag so I can show it on the camera what we're touching to? Thank you. Doesn't matter which one, just something so I can show what we're doing. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so everybody got it for the squishy toy? Like, dislike, and then what feelings come up? This is what we're doing here. This little squishy thing. Okay? Next one. Point 2. We're going for the acupressure tool. Everybody has something different. There's all different kinds of acupressure tools, but it's the thing in your tools that's pointy and sharp. See how that feels in your fingers? You can squish it. If it's a big one, you can step on it and see how it feels digging into your foot. You might put it on a softer part of your body, like on your face or your foot, or on the under part of your arm. You can push it hard or soft. Like, you know, the more sensitive part of your body, like your, just say like your fingertips, squeeze it and see how it feels on your fingertip. Okay. So Jaya, just take everything out of that bag and lay it in front of you. And we're on the second one now, which is an acupressure tool. I think you just pulled it out. Squeeze that and see how it feels. Like, dislike. And then write maybe the feeling that comes up. I think maybe you could share that feelings with Malika. Okay? So this acupressure tool, all different kinds of ones out there. Some people actually like hard things, you know, they love it. They're like, yes, that feels so good. And some people are like, oh, I hate that, you know. So see how you react to that and write it down. If you have time, put it on your feelings. Look at your feelings wheel. Okay. And if you haven't done it yet, you can do it with your eyes closed and see if it feels different with your eyes closed when you're not involving your sense of sight, and see if it feels different. I have the tiniest one. This is an acupressure tool as well. You can just squeeze it on your finger, I guess. Maybe it's a ring tool, I don't know.
This is a small
It's an acupressure tool. I don't know how you use it exactly, but okay, let's move to number 3, okay? Loofah sponge. Everybody has a loofah sponge of some sort. Get out your loofah sponge, rub it on your hands. See if you like that sensation. Ooh, it gives me the shivers. You know, you can put it on your face. You can put it anywhere you want. See how that feels. You can rub it like kind of slowly and gently, and then more like rough. And see if you like how it feels for you. It's a certain kind of feeling. It's definitely quite different than the acupressure tool and the squishy thing. Okay? Loofah sponge. If you haven't yet, you can close your eyes and see how it just feels to the touch of your fingers. If you didn't know it was a loofah sponge, what do you think? Would you be able to figure that out? I think it might be dry wheat or something, or grass. You know, I wouldn't have guessed loofah sponge. Okay, so when you're ready, you can write down if you like that or if you dislike that on your sheet. And you can write maybe some feeling that comes up for you, if you have one. Okay. So everybody has one thing left to feel, number 4. Oh no, sorry, hot water. I don't know if it's still hot. Hot water. It's in a cup with a brown wrapper. So you're not drinking, you're just touching. Just touch. Did it cool down? It's warm. Warm water. Warm water. It worked. Okay. So warm water, how does that feel to your touch? How does that feel for you? Actually, I'm glad it's not hot, so nobody got burned. Okay, so warm water, what does that feel like to you? Do you like the feel of this warm water? Do you dislike it? And how does it feel? What feeling comes up? Warm water. You can also try it with your eyes closed and see how it feels different maybe in your fingers. Okay, so now we're going to move to ice cube. So everybody has a yellow cup in front of you with an ice cube in it. See how that feels. First you might want to touch it with your finger and then you can like hold it maybe. See how it feels in your hand. If you have an aversion to cold, don't hold it in your hand. Just touch it with your finger. If you feel hot, you can put it on your forehead and see if it cools you down. See how that ice cube makes you feel. It's quite in contrast to something warm, right? All of a sudden this cold thing. How does that feel? You can also feel it. There's one thing about how it feels hot or cold, but there's also hard or soft, right? How does it feel to have a cold, hard thing in your hand or on your fingers? Okay. Now we're going to move to the last thing that you have in your bag or that you have in front of you is some sort of lotion or cream. Okay, or massage oil, something like that. Okay? So we're not doing a massage yet. We're just putting a blob of it on your finger just to feel like that. How does that feel? How does it feel? And if it's like more oily, you can kind of put it like this, you know, just here so it doesn't fall out. But how does that feel to you? It's a very different sensation than that loofah sponge, isn't it? How does it feel? And if you want, you can try to shut your eyes and keep it away from your nose for now. Don't let your nose convince you of something. So we're just going for feel. Just going for feel. Later on you can reject the smell or like the smell, but just feel. What does that feel like in your fingertips? Some of you have a massage oil, some of you have a hand cream, some of you have a foot cream. You can even try to put it on your feet if you want and see how that feels. How does it feel? You can do it with your eyes closed. Awesome, and see. What does that feel like? Do you like that sensation or not? And what feeling on your feelings wheel comes up? Is your manas liking that or disliking that? Okay, so go ahead and note it down. Okay, and now we've done the first 6, so I want to take a break now. You've had all the touch sensations, so go ahead and just for a minute review the 6 that you just did on your sheet and put a heart by your most favorite thing that you liked, how it felt. On your sheet, you noted down 1 through 6, right?
One is the best, and 6 is the...
Just put a heart by your favorite one. We're not ranking. Just put a heart by your favorite one. What did you like the best? What one did you like the best? And then the one you liked the least the feel of, put an X. So we're not ranking, just your favorite one and your least favorite one. And if you have time, you could even write like why you like that one so much. What did you like about that feeling? And then you could write the one you didn't like. What did you dislike about that feeling? Okay? Your favorite one in a heart, your least favorite one in an X. And if you can, be specific about why you liked it or why you disliked it. Write a note down. It's amazing how feelings can make you feel way more than something subtle, right? Sometimes it's, ew, I hate that thing. I'm going to throw it away. Or, oh, I love that thing. I want to keep feeling it, you know? So see what feeling was driving you to either like it or dislike it. Okay? Okay. So now we're going to complete the exercise. There's 4 more to do. 7, 8, 9, 10. 4 more. Okay? So we are doing now with if you liked your cream or whatever it was and you want to continue, you can massage your hand with that. If not, and you're like, oh my God, I want to throw this thing away, fine. You don't have to use it, but massage your hand. Or if you want to trade with your partner. I have one. If somebody, Vilas, you don't like yours, you can try mine. Or if somebody wants to try this one, mine is called After the Rain, Jasmine and Cedarwood. So we can do some trade. We can do some trades. What did Kamala? What was hers? So you guys can trade if you want. We all have a different sense of what feels good, you know. So if you want to trade around, you can. Okay. So now massage your hand. Okay. Go ahead and massage your hand with this. So this is a different sensation we're doing. It's not so much about the thing you're putting on your hand. It's how does it feel when you give yourself a massage. Okay, and use different types of pressure. Some people like light, so see how it feels to do something very gentle and light, maybe even like this, like you would like a puppy or a baby, something very gentle, and then do like a hard, maybe there's a painful point. Press hard and see how that feels. You know, sometimes when you press really hard, you're like, oh my God, I had no idea I had pain there. I had no idea, right? So fool around with different pressures or different ways that you can touch your hand and notice what's coming up feelings-wise for you. Try to notice if you like or dislike certain things and what specific feeling might come. This is manas in action. Manas is always giving us feedback. We just have to tune into it. What is your manas telling you? So go ahead and note something down about how you feel when you massage your own hand. Okay? Now we're going to move to the next 3. The last 3 experiences involve interacting with another person and your sense of touch, okay? So you can decide at this point, you've had enough, you've done 7, you don't want to do the last 3. It's totally optional if you want to interact with somebody else with touch. That's a very personal choice. Completely fine not to do it. You can also watch and get a lot out of probably watching people interact, okay? So you can choose just to observe. If you'd like to participate, then choose a partner who's the same sex as you. Who's the same sex as you, okay? So if you would like to participate, choose a partner who's the same sex as you. Okay? So go ahead and get with your partner and please go ahead and stand up and come somewhere with your partner so I can tell who's together, who's not. Get with your partner and stand up. Okay. So if you're sitting, it means you don't have a partner, right? Or you don't want to participate. If you're standing, it means you would like to participate. If you're married, you can be partners. If you're married, you can be partners. Sujani and Manu, if you guys are married, you can be partners. I'm just saying same sex for this, but if you're married, it doesn't matter. Okay, so everybody have a partner? Okay. Okay, does everybody have a partner? If you're doing the exercise and you have a partner, please stand. Okay. Okay. So now take turns gently stroking your partner on each other's back with your shirt on. This is Manas unhinged. Can you put the camera around and show how Manas unhinged looks? Okay. I never thought people would be so excited about touch. Okay. So hold on. Okay, listen. Take turns gently stroking your partner on their back. It's not a massage, it's a flat hand stroking. Okay? There should be no talking. And person number one, stroke person two on the back. Like this. Gentle stroking. Like you'd stroke a bunny or a cow. Okay, but there's no talking because when you talk, it ruins the experience. Meditate on manas means shut your mouth. Thank you. And stroke the other person on their back. This is sense of touch only, okay? You have to face with your back to the other person, not standing side by side. Look, see how Rāsa-līlā and Janava are doing it? They're the role models in the front. No talking, please. Yes. Right here, Rāsa-līla's modeling it. Stroke the other person on the back. Okay? And if you're the receiver, see how that feels. You may even want to shut your eyes. You're in a safe place. How does that feel to have a gentle stroke on your back? Okay? So go ahead and switch partners now and do the same thing to the other one without any talking. Okay? Stroke your partner on the back. After you've completed this, you'll write it down. Okay? So go ahead. Partner number one who just got stroked, now you stroke your partner on the back. Very gentle and very soft and steady and no talking. If you're receiving, you can shut your eyes and see how that feels. To have a gentle stroke on your back. But we're not talking. When you talk, it means your manas is out of control. This is a controlled exercise where you're focused on how you feel. Okay, good job, you guys. So now go ahead and you can take a seat and write down how you felt receiving, not giving, how you felt receiving the gentle stroke on your back. How did that feel? Okay, how did it feel? This is an important sense of touch, right, on your back. How did it feel? How did it feel to be stroked on your back? To receive that touch? Okay? You could just put like or dislike, or maybe a feeling came up. Okay? Now we're going to move to the next one with your same partner. Sit facing your partner. So this is a sitting exercise, but your shoulders are facing each other. Okay? You're facing like this, sitting. This is a sitting exercise with your partner where you're facing each other like this. Not side to side, like this. Okay? So everybody, good. And then we're going to do an eye-gazing exercise where you hold hands and you gaze into each other's eyes for 1 minute. Okay? So once you've gotten into the position, you guys, there's no talking for this minute. Okay? But this is a touch exercise, so you hold hands. You're holding hands and you're not squeezing, tickling, laughing, joking. You may smile because it's very awkward actually to stare into somebody's eyes. But it provides a very powerful experience, okay? Your eye gazing. So to eye gaze, your eyes have to be open. So you're looking into each other's eyes and you're holding hands. Is everybody ready? Okay, start now. So there's no talking, you're just holding hands and gazing into each other's eyes. Stay focused on yourself, not trying to read the other person. What's happening for you internally? Remember, the purpose is to watch your manas. What is happening for you internally? Like, dislike. What feelings are coming up? What feelings are coming for you? Keep your eyes open, but fix your gaze internally. Focus on the other person's hands, even though you're looking in their eyes. What does it feel like? What does this sense of touch feel like? Let yourself feel whatever's there. It's okay. Whatever is coming is okay. Okay, you can release the hands and release the gaze. Good job, you guys. Okay, so go ahead and please write down how you felt in that experience. What came up for you? Go ahead and write down how you felt. What feelings came up? It's very powerful to look into somebody's eyes and hold their hands. It's actually quite powerful if you let yourself feel it, right? So go ahead and write down the feelings that came up for you. And we're going to do one more exercise and then we're done with touch. Then I'll explain about everything we were just doing. Okay? So get your same partner. Okay? Go back to your same partner and I'll give you the last one, which is a hug. It's a heart hug for 1 minute. So a heart hug is actually when your heart is touching theirs, okay? But usually when we do a hug, it's very quick, and it usually feels very superficial. But we're going to hug for a minute. We're not groping. We're not squeezing, okay? You just stay with your heart touching, no talking, for 1 minute, okay? And see what feelings come up. Everybody with their partner? Everybody with their partner? Okay. Give yourself this experience of touch. You're standing. You should be standing, and you're doing a heart hug. No talking. 1, 2, 3, go. 1 minute. Let yourself feel. Can you please not speak because this is distracting to the people who are trying to get something out of the experience? Touch your hearts, not your head to their heart. Your heart should be touching. Your chest should be open, and you're touching the hearts. Let yourself go deep and feel. So much can come, actually, from the sense of touch. You can pick up so much on your feelings. I know it's awkward to hug, but when you talk, it ruins the experience for other people. So can you please control your manas and be quiet? Let yourself feel. Let yourself feel what's coming up for you in this embrace. Beautiful work, you guys. Okay, you can release the hug and go ahead and write down what you felt. Write down what you felt. Such a simple thing can be so powerful. Write down what you felt. Okay? The heart hug. What came up for you? You can look at your feelings wheel. And write what came up. Okay? Good job, you guys. So you just experienced your manas in 10 different ways now with the sense of touch. Many different things probably came up, right? With the sense of touch. Some are more powerful. I saw some of you getting moved and feeling tearful, and other times you were having other reactions, So it's amazing how much very short experiences with touch can make the manas have very strong reactions, right? You saw that. When I get further into some more lectures, you'll understand why. I'll explain more about samskaras and all that. But for now, we're just focused on what's coming on the screen of manas, those emotions, and you experience them. So you experience your manas responding to this input, all these different inputs, and the like and dislike, and then the associated feelings. That's what we just did. Okay? So now I'm going to talk more about the sense of touch, now that you had those experiences. So touch, in terms of Ayurveda, there's these things called the gunas, right? And there's 10 pairs of them. And some of them relate to touch. I'm not going to go deep into it, but I'm just highlighting it a little bit because you experienced that, right? You experienced some things that felt sharp and some things that felt solid or liquid or smooth or rough. And these are all coming from Ayurveda, and they actually have a lot more related to it. For example, each feeling has something way more than just hard related to it. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's first go here for 1 minute. So I asked you to look at your first 6 things that you felt, right? And I put the qualities here so you could see. It's probably obvious, but just for a minute, look at this. So, for example, the squishy toy, the first thing you felt. Where's my squishy toy? Okay, squishy toy. We all felt that, right? It's such an interesting sensation, right? Soft. right? I don't think anybody would say that's not soft, right? The next thing, you guys all had an acupressure tool, right? Hard, sharp, right? Then we had the loofah sponge, rough, dry. Okay? Then you had hot water, which was hot, that's an obvious one, or warm by the time you felt it, and liquid, right? And then you had an ice cube that was cold and hard. And then you had this lotion or massage oil or cream that was oily for some of you and liquid, right? Those are all those Ayurvedic qualities. They're all coming from there, okay? So now this is the interesting part, at least for me, that these physical qualities actually translate into feelings. Okay? So the squishy toy. If that was your favorite one, feelings, relaxed, tender, loved, nurtured, softness of, squishy is soft, right? So it's also softness of heart. Tenderness, love, care. Look at the cat. See how relaxed he is? I had to bring him in at some point again. Okay? Then we have the acupressure tool, right? Physical touch. We already said, we all agree it's hard and sharp. What feelings are related to that? Believe it or not, you probably may already know this, but if you press something like that, it can make you focus and concentrate. If you're feeling like dozing off, something sharp like that will make you focus and concentrate. The negative side is it can make you uncaring and insensitive. You see this thing is not flexible, right? It's not like, ooh, sorry, I don't want to cut your foot. It's like, so it's selfish, insensitive, hard, But the positive is something hard and sharp can help you with learning, focus, concentration, And as you saw, the sense of touch is very quick. You touch it and your mind changes. So if you are having problems concentrating, just keep your tool with you, and poke yourself. Okay?
Next time I fall asleep in bed.
Seriously, bring it. Bring it to class and try it. That's what I'm saying. These are all gifts for you to keep for your own self-care. So these are all for you, so you can bring it to class and use it. Okay. 3, the loofah sponge. Rough and dry. Fear, loneliness, rejection, separation. Did anybody pick this as their favorite one? This feeling? No. You see? Nobody wants to feel like that. Did anybody pick it as
I liked it.
I enjoyed it.
Okay, we're going to get into some analysis of that. Okay. When we get into some Samskara land, I'll ask again who liked the loofah sponge. But I have a prediction.
I rubbed my back with it.
Yes, I have a prediction about the childhood samskara for that one. So, okay, so now, did anybody hate this one as the one you liked the least, right? Who's like, yes, I want to feel fearful, lonely, rejected, and separated? No, it's like, ooh, I don't like that one. Right? Okay, how about this one, hot water?
Pleasant.
Feelings, but see the thing is I wasn't able to deliver too hot. If you touched it and you got burned, you'd be like, oh, it'd make you mad and angry, right? It was warm, and so that doesn't really count because warm is soothing. So we have to pretend. If you've ever touched hot water and it burned your finger, right? You don't like that, right? It makes you irritable and angry. But the liquid side of it, which is what you guys experienced, warm liquid, that's really nice actually, right? So, it can make you critical, but it's actually in the wrong place. Critical would be hot. Liquid is actually cohesive and compassion. Liquid is like flowing. It brings everything together. Liquid is nice, But the good side of the hot is that it aids in stimulating your digestion. It can improve assimilation and circulation, and promote even cleansing. And a lot of you who know Ayurveda already know all this. That's why you drink hot water with lemon and all that. Okay, ice cube. Who liked the ice cube? You like the ice cube, look at hiding under the bed, fearful, numb, contracted, scared and contracted. If you think about ice, think about yourself. If you jump into something cold, you're like, oh, makes you contract, right? Yeah, that's what you were contracted? You hit it on the nail. Okay, nail on the head. So this is this picture, it's like, no. But if you have a very overactive mind, overactive could be maybe more like angry, it can cool it down. But overactive in terms of anxious, it's going to make you more anxious because an anxious mind is a vata type of mind, and cold things aggravate vata, so that's not good. But overactive, like angry, and then it can cool it down because the angry mind is hot, and an ice cube is cold. You just dump a bucket of ice water on your head and maybe cool down. Okay, how about this one? So you had this creamy type of lotion massage cream stuff, right? so that the feelings of oily and liquidy, relaxed, compassionate, loved and love, like loving and also love, and nourished. I don't know if you felt any of that. You did, Jonathan? Yeah. And it can aid in smoothing. It's smooth, so it can aid in smoothing relations. Even if you feel that you're having a troubled relation, it's not that you squirt the thing on the person, but you squirt it on yourself and feel it, and things start feeling smoother in your mind, and then you start acting smoother. Because what you're thinking and what you're feeling, then you do. So once you make your mind smooth, then you're smooth with others. Okay? But if you have problems with digesting oils or you don't like them, there could be some difficulty with expressing your feelings or with loving yourself in a healthy way, self-care. Okay. So a lot of you are already doing this and already know about it, but I'll just touch on it for 1 minute because self-massage is a really nice way to make yourself smooth and oily and feel loved, So in many parts of India, even here, people are still doing a daily self-massage, right, with oil. And being touched sends a very, very powerful message to your brain that everything's okay. And a lot of science says it goes all the way back to when you were first born and your mother was holding you and giving you that feeling, that gentle touch feeling that everything's okay. So it can trigger actually that samskara in you if you had a mother who made you feel like that. That you're okay and you don't have to be afraid. By doing your own self-massage, it can trigger that samskara if you have a good one like that from mom. So this is just a side note. I'll send these slides around and you can do it if you want to go deeper with what we've talked about, because I'm going fast and I'm covering a lot of points. But you could think about what touch was your favorite and the feelings that you saw that were associated with it. Why were you so drawn to that touch? And then how do those feelings that were generated by the touch that you liked, how do they affect you in a positive way? And the same thing with the negative touch, the touches you didn't like. You can introspect on that. Because it seems so simple what we did, but it actually can help you work with your mind if you introspect on this and use it in your life. So the practical punchline is that you can use these different qualities you experience to manage your feelings. So you'd have to kind of go through it. And so I just made up a real quick kind of cheat sheet. But for example, if you were feeling heavy, a heavy feeling and depressed or lazy, you can incorporate a touch that's light. If you're feeling dull-headed, unfocused, you can incorporate this sharp touch like I already mentioned, If you're hot-headed, you can incorporate a cold touch. If you're feeling dry, which is that lonely and rejected feeling, you can incorporate that oily touch. If you're feeling rough, which would be like fearful or separated, you can incorporate a smooth touch. If you're feeling solid, which is kind of like insensitive, you can incorporate a touch that's inflexible. Then you can incorporate a touch that's flexible, which is liquid. Liquid flows, right? And something solid doesn't, like a table, If you're feeling hard, same thing, rigid and inflexible, you can incorporate a touch that's soft and gentle. And if you're feeling stable, sometimes too stable is like stuck, then you can incorporate a touch that's mobile and moving. So these are just ideas. It's not that they're like the gospel. I'm just trying to help you think about how you might bring it into your life. Okay? So about the 3 touch experiences which you interacted with another person, here's some research on the power of human touch. So gentle touch is the first one you did, right? Rubbing each other's back. There's something that maybe you've heard of called the love hormone, which is oxytocin. And research on this gentle touch, which seems so simple. I think you probably did it for 1 minute. It wasn't much, right? Stroking a person's back has shown that it increases the production of that oxytocin, known as the love hormone. And that's why I think some of you felt emotional to feel that. So it gets naturally secreted in your body, and it sends this surge of positive, like feel good hormones. It makes you feel loving. It makes you feel kind. It makes you feel empathetic. And these feelings also foster bonding between the mother and the baby at the time of birth. When the woman gives birth, there's a surge of that oxytocin as well. And so, but also you can make the surge happen just by rubbing someone's back, Okay, the second thing you guys did was the hug was last, right? The hand thing. Okay, I have it in the wrong order. So, okay, the hugging thing I'll do first. So this relieves stress and it gives a feeling of comfort. Hugging. That's what the research shows. Even a 10-second hug. I had you guys hug for a minute. Even a 10-second hug releases that feel-good, like love hormone. And it helps your body fight depression. It helps your body fight even infection and tiredness. I don't know if any of you experienced something different after the hug, that your mood changed in some way, right? For a 1-minute hug is pretty good. Research has shown that without loving relationships, which include touch, even if all of our other basic needs are met, still humans don't flourish. So we need touch. So the holding hands. So research shows that holding hands, which you guys experienced, and it was like doubly intense because you held hands and you looked into each other's eyes. Just eye gazing is very powerful, but you did both. You did touch and eye gazing. So that also gives a surge of that feel-good hormone. Oxytocin, which has been shown to reduce pain, anxiety, stress, blood pressure. And so if you're like, wait, I did that and I didn't feel like that. Actually, I felt fearful. I felt this or that. That's your samskara. And we might do it again when we get to the samskara land, when we do chitta. And so you can understand if you didn't feel some of these things and you maybe were feeling other feelings. Probably a samskara got triggered because you have a fear of intimacy from probably an adult caregiver who was not there for you as a kid. But we'll get into that later. Okay? So I'm going to end with a story about one of my clients, combative Kayla. Does everybody know what combative means?
Fighting.
Yeah. She was combative. You can see how this is the best picture I could find to kind of show how she looked, okay? So this is back to the days when I worked at the hospital, for the psychiatric hospital for kids and teens. And Kayla was an 8-year-old. She was removed from her home due to severe abuse and neglect. She tried to kill the family pet. She abused her siblings. She was violent towards the kids at school and to her teachers. She kicked, she hit, she punched, she pushed. She threw sharp objects. She spit at her foster mother. And she hated hugs. That was basically the nutshell version of Kayla to start with. And when I got her, I'm like, oh my God, because I don't know what to do with a child like that, you know? She was rude, disobedient, disrespectful. She would not make any eye contact with me, because you had to go get the kid. They were like locked in behind 2 or 3 very big security doors. And you had to wear a little like name tag thing with a buzzer thing, with a thing that would buzz the door. It was like a prison. So you have to go and you're like beep, and you get through the first set of doors, and then beep, the second set of doors, and then you have to go to the main desk, and I'm like, I'm here for Kayla, and she's like this big. She comes out, and I'm like, okay, you know, I'd never met her before, but when she came to my room, then you have to bring her to your room, you know, and then you have to see how they're going to engage with you or not. But she wouldn't look at me. She wouldn't make eye contact. And usually the kids, they try, you know, they're looking for some person who cares about them, who will engage with them. It was like I wasn't there. So then I tried to engage with her, and I have like candy in my room and toys and blankets and stuffed animals and anything to get them to engage, you know. She just went straight by herself, like playing by herself like I wasn't in the room. And I was like, is your name Kayla? Or like anything, you know? No. So I'm like, okay. So then when I tried to then she started playing by herself with her back to me. So I'm trying to come around and be like, Kayla, can I play? Oh, you know. And she starts screaming at the top of her lungs, like she was being beaten, you know, or like her hand got pinched in the door or something. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna look like I'm abusing this kid, you know? I'm like, oh my God. You know, she's screaming, she's kicking, she's throwing things at me. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't do anything. I just tried to play with her, you know? So I have to call the emergency, you know, and these huge big security guards, you can hear them when they're coming, like, bom, 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 you know? And they come in, I'm like, and they throw open the door, and it was so sad. They grab her and they throw her down, you know, and they pinned her down, and she's little, you know, but her behavior, they're like, no, this is a danger. And I'm like, oh my God. So they pinned her down, and then they pull her, like 4, 1 on each foot and 1 on each hand, 4 huge, you know, 300-pound guys. And she's kicking and screaming and spitting. And I'm like, that was my first meeting with Kayla. So then I meet her mom. I call her mom. I'm like, oh, the first meeting didn't go so well. Trying my best here, but can you fill me in on what I'm missing, you know? And her mother said, you know, she was crying, you know, and she said, I'm so desperate to find an answer for her. She has been through so many therapists. She's been through so many schools. She's not allowed in school. No therapist wants to see her. That's why she's here, locked in this basically prison, you know? And I've tried everything. Nothing has worked. In fact, the more things I try, the worse she's getting. Usually what happens is, what we do when we get an admission is, we try the simplest thing first. And then, even with medicine, just give one medicine and try one little thing and just see how they do. And if that doesn't work with them, okay, maybe try this medicine or try a second medicine. And then try, maybe see her twice a day. Or let's add the group. So we always start simple and then add. And the mom's like, she's bringing, here's all the medicines we've tried. Here's all the therapists and all the notes, it's like that big, of all what the therapist said, and like, basically nothing. So it turns out her diagnosis was RAD. It stands for Reactive Attachment Disorder. I'd never really heard of it. I studied it in school, but I'd never seen it. It's kind of rare. It's not that common, RAD. So I did research on it. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that's one of like 500 diagnoses I read about that I had to memorize for the test, but I didn't know what it really was. So I researched it, and it said that RAD, Reactive Attachment Disorder, is a condition where a child does not form healthy emotional bonds with their caretakers, with their parental figures, often because of emotional neglect at an early age. And children with RAD have trouble managing their emotions. Now, when you're in school to study to be a psychologist, oftentimes when you read it, you're like, that's me. I don't like is that me? No, it's not you, okay? I promise you, but oftentimes you're reading it and you're like, that could be me too. Oh my God, I have 10 of these things. Probably not. Because it's not, how it's described doesn't sound very bad, but when you see it in action, you're like, whoa, that's rad, I got it, So I did some more research. We have a book that we use, a manual where it gives all the diagnoses, so I read through there, and here's what it said. Difficulty forming emotional attachments to others. Decreased ability to experience any positive emotion. Cannot seek or accept any physical or emotional closeness. So that's why I said no wonder why she didn't want to make even eye contact with me, They may react violently if they're held, if they're cuddled, if they're comforted. Have you ever seen like a dog who's been very badly abused, and then you're like, oh, and it's like, it's kind of like that. She's completely freaked out by all the abuse she's experienced, so she doesn't trust anybody. They're very unpredictable, and they're very difficult to console and difficult to discipline. They're in their own world, and they're completely independent. Their moods like fluctuate like very strongly. And they live in this fight or flight or freeze mode. They're not really ever relaxed, And they have a strong desire to control their environment. That's why when she came in my room, she was just doing her own thing, like I wasn't even there, So I called many experts at the psychiatric hospital asking for help, like the medical director, my manager, other therapists who'd been there longer. Maybe they've seen this type of kid, a rad kid before, which I hadn't, And they all told me the same thing. 1, this kid's not going to get better. 2, she's only going to get worse, in fact. 3, she's going to end up living in an institution like this for the rest of her life. And because she's a danger to herself. And if you look back at what all these things are, look, how do you help someone get better? You have to bond with them, but she can't bond. Actually, she does the opposite of what you do when someone tries to bond with you. So they're just like, just forget about it. Don't waste your time. Just do whatever the treatment plan said. She's custody of the state, and she's going to end up probably like in a prison, because she will she's trying to kill the family pet now and basically her siblings. So when she gets older, she'll get more aggressive. And don't worry your head over it. That's just how it is. I couldn't accept it. This was an 8-year-old little girl. I'm sorry. I'm like, no. So I refused to give up on Kayla. And from my perspective, which probably actually now that I look back was still it was kind of naive, but I just thought, okay, she just needed love. That's all. But if you ever want to learn more about this disorder, if you go on YouTube, you can watch documentaries and videos on it. They need a lot more than love. But my naive perspective actually worked to my advantage at that time. Don't forget, I was new, It's not that I was some expert with 15 years of experience then. So I just thought, oh, she just needs love. So I began searching for anything I could get my hands on related to this information about RAD, anything at all. And I finally came across like one tiny little, like small little part of an article that said that these researchers tried something called snuggle time. And that was the treatment. I'm like, all right, we could try that. the research stated that many children with this RAD, they missed out on the typical baby snuggle time when they were infants and toddlers. And they might never, actually in their whole life, have ever had somebody who held them, who rocked them, who sang them a song, something soothing, who tickled them, you know, who was loving towards them, who read them a bedtime story. They never had that. So the treatment was this snuggle time, okay? Which you're supposed to take the child back to when they were like the first year of life, and you're supposed to nurture them, basically put in these new samskaras of what they missed out on. And that would make them healthy, you know, become healthy. But the problem is Kayla was 8. And what they were saying in the article is you have to have the mom literally hold her like a 1-year-old, like a baby, and like rock her. I'm like, oh my, how? And this girl, she was so combative. I'm like, really, Kayla, who's like completely like, no, you know, and then the mom's gonna sit there and hold her and rock her like a baby, an 8-year-old. I'm like, all right, let's try. Sounds simple, right? Not really. It's wrong. So Kayla refused the idea. She's like, no, you know. Her foster mother and I, we tried every different angle we could to convince her, you know. And she would, and she basically, she would listen, but she wouldn't. I mean, what would happen is she'd come to my office. Number one, she'd get to see her foster mom, and only at that time. So she'd come to see her foster mom, because, you know, at least it was some person she knew. And she would get candy. So basically, that's why she would listen to us. So, but I think in her mind, it was like, blah, 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 blah. That's how we sounded. She was just like, this lollipop is good. Can I have another one? Yeah, keep talking. You know, so she was just eating the candy and like, you know. So until one day, we kept going and we kept trying, and she didn't refuse. She actually agreed. But the trick was that I gave her full control, because she felt her whole life felt out of control, and she didn't trust anybody. So I said, Kayla, you write the rules. And then she agreed. She said, okay, here's what it is. You have to turn off all the lights in your office. You have to play my favorite music. You have to give me chocolate before I do it, and you have to give me a lollipop after. You have to wrap me very tightly in my fluffy blanket so I feel safe. You have to, I only will lay in that position snuggling with my mom for 1 minute, okay? And you set the alarm so I know, and when the buzzer goes off, I jump up and I get out of that blanket. Yep, okay? And shut the blinds, because my office overlooked the pool. So all the kids were there. They could, you know, she felt embarrassed. She didn't want people looking in and seeing her mom holding her like a baby at 8 years old, you know? And so then she said, and you turn your chair around and you don't look at me either. I don't want you looking at me with my mom snuggling. I go, okay. So we set the whole room up and we followed all of her rules. And day by day, week by week, we kept doing it. And she started to soften. She softened into her mom's arms. She let her hold her like a baby, and we just kept inching it up. Can we do 1 more minute, Kayla? Okay, can we do 1 more minute? So we kept inching up the time. And then we started saying, now, Kayla, can you look at your mom this time just for 10 seconds? Can you look in her eyes? Oh! It was so painful, you guys. She would be shaking and crying and sweating. She could not look in her mom's eyes because she had been so badly abused, you know, that it was extremely, very intense fear. But she, over time, she softened and softened and softened. And then she started making friends at the hospital. All the kids used to hate her, but she started making friends with the other kids. She started making friends even with me. She made eye contact. She would play with me. So Kayla got healed. The snuggle time therapy worked, and that's the power of loving touch. Okay? So I'll end with a poem. Life is such that I hanker for touch, but I never get much. This makes my heart feel crushed. So when I get a small touch, to me it feels like a gold rush. My heart instantly goes to mush. My face, it does blush. And when I realize my samskara, my heart I clutch. I hold my inner child and tell her, hush, hush. We don't need to use others' love and attention as a crutch. For I'm with you always, and I love you so much. Haribol, you guys. Thank you. Yes, Malati.
That abuse was not by her foster mother, but
Yeah.
by her. So foster mother adopted her after she was.
The foster mother kind of took her into care to see if she was adoptable. It was just like, I think, a 12-month contract. But the parent, so Malati's question, I don't know if that mic was working, but Malati's question was it the foster mother who adopted her? And no, it wasn't. It was, I think the mother was on drugs, you know, and the father was also, and they treated her very poorly. So the foster mother was trying, but I mean, what do you do when you get a kid like that? you know. She was like, this kid doesn't love me, what am I doing wrong? And then she was getting frustrated with her. But the part of it was me also educating the foster mother. She has a thing called RAD. By the way, I'm learning with you what it is. Can we experiment? I mean, he was new to both of us, you know. So, but it was very sweet to see her come around. And when she left, when she got discharged, she even gave me a hug. Yeah, she did well. Okay?
How long did you stay?
She was there maybe 6 to 8 months. She's a hard case. That was quite fast, actually. It would have taken longer, but I think she was eager to bring her home, the foster mother. Yes, Vilas.
You spoke a little bit on the different types of touches. And could you give an example of what is a mobile touch?
Something moving. You know, vata. You got to be kind of creative with it. Okay, I don't want to go too long because it's 8:05 and Babaji, I think, is here. Did you see him? No? All right, we'll do one more. Any other questions? Okay. Purushottam. Purushottam, do you have a question?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. Just like you say, acupressure tool, though it is painful, you find it, you like it because you know eventually it's going to make you feel better, it relaxes sympathy. So how does this two contrast? Immediately mind takes, it's painful, but immediately you know it's going to improve you. So you kind of, in between the two stages, how do you figure this out? What is the response to this?
So that's a good question. So the mind, the part of your mind that knows, ooh, this is good for me, that's your buddhi. That's your intelligence and your awareness. And then the part of your mind that's like, I don't like it, that's your manas. It's just having like, dislike. So sometimes you have to override the manas, who's like, I don't like it, I don't want to take the bitter medicine, I don't want to exercise, and I don't want to poke myself with this tool. Then your buddhi has to say, okay, I know you don't like it, but it's good for you, you know? So that's why this series of talks was just on manas reaction. You know, and you're asking a more advanced question. When we get to buddhi, then that'll be the last part of the mind I teach about, and then you'll see how they all interact and work together. But that's just a quick answer of the dynamic of what's going on.
It is very quick though. Mind immediately painful, but immediately buddhi said, no, it's good for you. So it looks like that is, mind is working both ways. It appears that way.
I'm not quite sure what you're saying.
Well, the mind initially says you dislike it because it's painful.
Yeah.
But immediately you feel, oh, this is good for you. You immediately, so it looks like immediately buddhi reacts to that and buddhi comes up.
If your buddhi's strong, if your buddhi's in sattva, it will do that.
Oh.
But buddhi could be in rajas or tamas as well. So if your buddhi's in sattva, it's like, no. And your buddhi's in control, it just pulls the reins of mind and manas and says, come on now. It's good for you, and you know we signed up for this, and you'll feel better after. But that's depends. It could react in other ways too. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Haribol. Thank you guys.
Haribol, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.